I play Richie Boyle, who is kind of the heir to the Boyle family throne, I guess. He's the son of Roy Boyle, who sort of runs the business, runs the block, kind of owns the neighborhood, So Richie's very, comes from a very sort of privileged upbringing. He wants to be, well, he feels very empowered in the family business. He kind of runs the show. He runs the crew a little bit. He's sort of the number two behind his pops. He calls the shots. He's probably a little protected around town too. Oh, he's a gangster, by the way. Richie and Leonard have a pretty surface relationship until we dive into the story that we see in the film. Leonard owns Leonard's shop is sort of a drop zone for us, and we kind of use it as we will for the business. And I mean, Richie likes Leonard. I think he gets a kick out of him. I think he always tries to get him to talk or something because he thinks he's got a funny accent, and he's probably the only, person with any kind of accent he's ever even known in his life, you know what I mean? It's a different time. It's 1950s Chicago, so Richard gets a kick out of Leonard, I think. But yeah, I'm not so sure that Leonard, I don't know what Leonard thinks of Richie. I think maybe I don't think he loves him being in his space so much, He definitely owns every space that he walks into. But yeah, he likes him. He likes Leonard. Richie and Francis have a complicated relationship, I guess you could say. Francis is sort of like Richie's adopted, adopted brother. The Boyle family, Richie's dad, Roy, pulled Francis off the streets. They're cut from different cloths. Francis is very much so a raw, tested, has survived and weathered a hard life. He's a very hardened character, whereas Richie, I think he wants people to think he's like that. He wants to be that for sure, but I think he was raised a much cozier lifestyle, obviously. Richie and Mabel are, I don't know, I think, she's the cute girl from the shop that he wants to take out. I think Richie's good with girls. I think those are the things, he likes leaning into the things that he's good at, things that he's better at than Francis too, I think, He gets the girl, he's a good time, he's a good night out, Yeah, I think he definitely likes Mabel, but I think when we kind of first see them, it sort of might be one of their first times that he's kind of taken her out. Richie's so eager to prove himself because all he's ever searched for and wanted is his father's approval. And I think that's sort of dictated his entire life, especially, yeah, when you've thrown Francis into the equation, I think Richie's, I think he's the weakest of the four chess players that we sort of see in this movie, but he's not totally weak. I think he has had to endure a life under his father's microscope, which is not easy. It's a different kind of hard. But with that comes a lot of daddy issues. I think he desperately seeks his father's approval. And I think when Francis comes into the picture and he sees that out of nowhere comes this guy, who just immediately steps in as being sort of that son that, that ideal sort of son that Roy has always wanted. And Richie can see that and he knows that and he can feel that. I think it's the worst thing that can happen to him. I was obsessed with the script from the second I read it. I told Graham this story, I read it on a plane and I stood up in my seat when I got to the end of it and I applauded, which is a true story. It's just an incredible piece of material, and I think I don't know, it's just extremely rare to come across something like this. And I was just so taken and blown away with it immediately. I loved Richie. I loved that role. I was so shocked with uh, the turn in the middle of the piece, and it's just, it's again, I guess it's just the kind of piece of material that doesn't come across your desk very often. The most enjoyable aspects of playing the role or being a part of this at all has just been every piece of it. I mean, it's everything you dream about doing, like in a movie. When you're growing up, it's all the cool things you wanted to that you fantasized about. Like, I mean, the suits, the smokes, the swagger. Like it's just dripping with the kind of stuff that like is just a dream to play. And then when you add the depth into that every character is layered with. And again, sort of that chess match that ensues, and like, I mean, it's just so clever and so fun and so colorful. The costume in this film is absolutely a part of the fabric of the film, a huge piece. Yeah, I'd had conversations with Graham early on about like what Richie's kind of style is, and it's interesting. You sort of see everybody's character in their fabric. The outfit is each of their outfits that they wear. It's we all sort of have a mask. Not everyone is totally what they seem to be. You know what I mean? And I think the clothes play a huge role in that. The costume department has been unbelievable, and the suits that, I mean, I had like my suit, made at Huntsman, which is incredible, and it's the nicest thing I've ever had on me, and I don't deserve to be in this in this nice of clothes. But yeah, I'm sort of I'm flashy. I'm as flashy as it gets. I think Richie likes to present as much as he can. This cast has been amazing to work with. It's been a really fun experience, and I think different for most of us in terms of like the prep process and the rehearsal. It's really felt like we've been like putting on a play, like a proper like stage production. It's one location, so we have control of shooting in sequence, in order. To shoot in sequential order is like absolutely unheard of. I'll probably never do it again in my career. So that's been incredible to be able to tell the story beat by beat as, we're living the story as we're telling it. So that's been amazing. And to be, it's been it's a really smart group of actors, and I've learned something from each of them, and I think it's incredible because we're led by, a guy who is just such a master of his craft, and also just such a really, really great and open human being, and willing to share, what he knows and what he's practiced and what he's learned. And so it's really just been such a, I mean, there's no words. It's been beyond just a pleasure of an experience. I mean, this will be something that I'll be so special to me forever. I'll always remember it. Graham's amazing. I love that guy so much. I mean, like genuinely, he's he's such a great person, and and such a brilliant writer. But it's the former sort of that ultimately like really matters most, obviously. So the fact that he's just such a kind guy and such an open guy and such a fun guy too, I think really influences how great he already is as a director. I mean, this is his first time even stepping into that role, and I think he's got really incredible instincts in terms of trusting his actors and his crew and the team that he's assembled. And as far as building that team goes too, I think he's got incredible taste. This is a film that was made, I'd say, not only in the time where theater going was, the only thing to do, the only option, and something we're losing more and more of. But it's also the type of film that, you would want to see like in the cinemas, So I think it's such a treat to see something that's such a, homage and throwback to like one of these, classic noir gangster films. You you got to go to the theater to see that kind of thing, you know. Also, Dick Pope is an incredible, incredible cinematographer.